Welcome, tennis fans, to a monumental moment in the world of sports that has just unfolded on the iconic red clay of Rome. We are talking about a clash that has sent shockwaves through the tennis community, a match that had an entire nation holding its collective breath, and a showcase of raw talent against established dominance. In the third round of prestigious 2026 Italian Open, we witnessed the very first career meeting between the rising star from the Philippines, Alexandra Eala, and the reigning Australian Open champion, the formidable world number 2 from Kazakhstan, Elena Rybakina. This was not just a tennis match. It was a compelling narrative of ambition meeting experience, a left-handed prodigy taking on a right-handed powerhouse at the historic BNP Paribas Arena. Rybakina, riding the momentum of an incredible season and looking to cement her legacy on the clay courts, faced an inspired 20-year-old Eala, who had just achieved a career-high ranking and was playing the tennis of her life. The final scoreline read 6-4, 6-3 in favor of the Kazakh superstar, but as any true tennis aficionado knows, the numbers on the scoreboard barely scratched the surface of the drama, the tactics, and the sheer intensity that transpired over those 92 minutes. Today, we are going completely in-depth. We are going to unpack every single layer of this encounter. We will explore how Rybakina's blistering serve dictated the tempo, how Eala's gritty baseline defense proved she belongs on the game's biggest stages, and what this result means for the trajectory of both these phenomenal athletes as the season marches toward the French Open. So, sit back and get ready, because we are diving deep into the tactical mastery, the mental fortitude, and the unforgettable highlights of Alexandra Eala versus Elena Rybakina at the 2026 Italian Open. To truly understand the gravity of this match, we first have to look at the journeys of the two women who stepped onto the court in Rome. Let's begin with Alexandra Eala. For years, the tennis world has been watching this young Filipina with a mixture of hope and immense expectation. Coming from a country with a passionate sports culture, but without a deep historical foothold in the upper echelons of professional tennis, Eala has had to chart her own course. At just 20 years old, she has already broken through barriers that many thought were insurmountable. Arriving in Rome ranked 42nd in the world, she brought with her the confidence of a player who knows her time has come. We saw flashes of this brilliance last year with her incredible semifinal run in Miami, and again earlier this season when she reached the quarterfinals in Dubai. But clay is a different beast entirely. It demands patience, stamina, and a level of tactical nuance that often takes years to master. Yet, Eala looked remarkably at home. In the round prior to facing Rybakina, she put on a spectacular display against the Paris Olympic silver medalist Wang Xinyu, overcoming a slow start and fighting back from dangerous deficits to win in straight sets. That victory alone was a statement. It proved that Eala possesses not just the physical tools, the heavy left-handed forehand, the sharp court movement, but also the mental resilience required to thrive at a WTA 1000 event. When she walked onto court to face the world number 2, she was not just carrying her racket. She was carrying the hopes of the Philippines, aiming to execute a major upset that would echo around the globe. On the other side of the net stood an absolute titan of the modern game, Elena Rybakina. If you have followed tennis over the last few years, you know that Rybakina has evolved from a dangerous dark horse into an undeniable force of nature. Representing Kazakhstan, she has built a reputation on a foundation of ice-cold composure and devastating power. Earlier this year, she captured her second Grand Slam title by defeating Aryna Sabalenka at the Australian Open, a victory that propelled her to the number 2 spot in the world rankings. Rybakina's game is built around what is arguably the best serve in women's tennis right now. It is fluid, it is heavy, and its placement is surgically precise. But what makes her so incredibly tough to beat on a surface like clay is that she has adapted her aggressive hard-court style to the slower conditions. She does not just try to hit through the court. She uses her height, her reach, and her impeccable timing to take the ball early, rushing her opponents and robbing them the time they need to construct points on the dirt. Entering this third-round clash, Rybakina was on a mission. She had already amassed 28 victories this season, and she was hungry for number 29. The Italian Open is a crucial stepping stone, a tournament that tests your physical readiness and your tactical sharpness before the grueling fortnight in Paris. For Rybakina, this match was about asserting her dominance early, sending a message to the rest of the tour that her clay court game is just as lethal as her hard court prowess. When the umpire called time and the match began, the atmosphere inside the BNP Paribas Arena was electric. It was a classic matchup of the established elite against the hungry challenger. The first set was a masterclass in high-stakes tennis. Eala, fully aware that she could not afford to let Rybakina dictate the terms of engagement, came out swinging. In the very first game, she showed tremendous grit, surviving an extended battle on Rybakina's serve to draw first blood. It was a clear signal that the young Filipina was not going to be intimidated by the power coming from the other side of the net. However, Rybakina is world number 2 for a reason. She immediately recalibrated, finding the range on her formidable serve and beginning to push Eala deep behind the baseline. The tactical battle was fascinating to watch. Rybakina tried to target Eala's backhand, aiming to extract short balls that she could step in and crush. But Eala's left-handed angles allowed her to open up the court, forcing Rybakina to hit on the run. Despite Eala's valiant efforts and her ability to extend rallies, Rybakina's experience shone through in the crucial moments. The Kazakh star found an extra gear, landing a crucial break of serve. She utilized her heavy forehand to dictate the center of the court, slowly suffocating Eala's defensive options. As the first set reached its climax, Rybakina served it out with trademark efficiency, taking it 6-4. It took nearly 52 minutes of grueling, high-quality tennis, proving that Eala was making the world number 2 work for every single point. The second set began with the momentum seemingly firmly in Rybakina's corner. She opened strongly, dominating the first game and immediately putting pressure on Eala's serve. You could see the Kazakh player trying to shorten the points, moving forward when the opportunity presented itself, and using her wingspan to put away volleys. Eala, to her immense credit, did not fold. In fact, she fought back brilliantly, blanking Rybakina in the second game to tie the set at 1-1, and then building momentum to take a 2-1 lead. It was in these moments that Eala's potential truly sparkled. Her ability to absorb Rybakina's pace and redirect it down the line was spectacular. But this is where the margin for error against a player of Rybakina's caliber becomes razor-thin. Down 2-1, Rybakina flipped the switch. She held her serve with authority and then launched a relentless assault on Eala's delivery. The pressure became overwhelming. Rybakina secured the break and then consolidated it to take a 4-2 lead. Eala, displaying the scrappy, fighting spirit that has endeared her to so many fans, managed to hold serve and cut the deficit to 4-3, keeping herself within striking distance. But Rybakina was resolute. She tightened her grip on the match, relying on her unreturnable first serves and aggressive baseline positioning to close out the remaining games. At match point, trailing 5-3, Eala gave it everything, but Rybakina's relentless consistency prevailed. The second set concluded 6-3 in about 41 minutes, wrapping up a straight sets victory for the Kazakh champion. Looking at the statistics from this encounter, the story of the match becomes even clearer. Rybakina fired 6 aces, a testament to her serving prowess, while maintaining a very clean sheet with 0 double faults. Her ability to win crucial points on her first serve was the bedrock of her victory. Eala, on the other hand, struggled slightly with her second serve under the immense pressure of Rybakina's aggressive returning, committing a few costly double faults. Yet, the underlying numbers showed just how competitive the rallies were. Eala won a significant percentage of receiving points, indicating that once the ball was in play, she was matching the world number 2 stroke for stroke. The difference ultimately came down to execution on the break points and the sheer weight of shot that Rybakina could produce when she needed to end a rally. It was a match that highlighted the importance of a dominant serve in modern women's tennis, but also showcased the value of speed, defensive anticipation, and tactical variety, all areas where Alexandra Eala excelled. For Elena Rybakina, this victory was exactly what she needed. It was measured, it was efficient, and it showcased her ability to problem-solve against a tricky, left-handed opponent she had never faced before. Advancing to round of 16 in Rome keeps her firmly on track for a deep run in the tournament and builds invaluable momentum as she prepares for clay court major. She demonstrated that her movement on the dirt has improved significantly, allowing her to set up her powerful ground strokes with better balance. For Alexandra Eala, while the result was a defeat, the performance was a massive victory in the grand scheme of her career. She went toe-to-toe with one of the most dominant forces in the sport and proved she belongs on that court. She tested Rybakina, forced her to find her best tennis, and displayed a level of maturity and tactical awareness that goes far beyond her 20 years. This run in Rome, reaching the third round of a WTA 1000 event on clay, is a milestone that she and her team will undoubtedly build upon. It provides her with crucial ranking points. But more importantly, it provides her with the experience of feeling the pace, the depth, and the relentless pressure of a top-tier champion. As we wrap up this extensive analysis, the biggest takeaway from this phenomenal clash in Rome is the sheer health and excitement of the women's game right now. We have established champions like Elena Rybakina, who continue to refine their craft, adding new dimensions to their already formidable arsenals. Her straight sets victory was a statement of intent, a reminder that she is a massive threat on any surface, and her journey toward another Grand Slam title is firmly underway. At the same time, we have incredibly exciting young talents like Alexandra Eala breaking through, carrying the flags of nations that are hungry for tennis glory and play with a fearless joy that captivates audiences worldwide. Eala's performance against the world number 2 was nothing short of inspiring. It was a masterclass in effort, resilience, and the relentless pursuit of excellence. For all the fans watching in the Philippines and around the globe, this match was a preview of a very bright future. Eala is no longer just a rising star. She is a present danger to anyone on the tour. As the clay court season rolls on toward its climax, the narratives are set. Rybakina moves forward, her eyes locked on the ultimate prize, while Eala heads back to the practice courts, armed with new knowledge, unshakable confidence, and the undeniable proof that she can compete with the absolute best in the world. Thank you so much for joining me for this deep dive into what was truly a spectacular day of tennis at the Italian Open. Keep your eyes on the courts, because this season is shaping up to be one of the most thrilling in recent memory. Stay passionate, keep loving the game, and I will see you next time for more in-depth tennis analysis.